Do you have retirement accounts with past employers that you're trying to figure out, should you roll these over, should you do something with it, or should you just leave it where it's at? I want to talk you through some things you should consider when you're making that decision. And I've put here a chart so we can answer some of these really important questions. And these are really the main types of accounts that we're talking about and that are available with your employer, your 401k, Roth 401k, and then where you can move those funds to. So when we first talk about investment options, this is what can you invest these funds in. If it's in your 401k, for example, this is going to be limited, it might be limited to a list that your employer has made available to you. Now, some allow for a separately managed account where you can actually choose from anything, but for the most part, you're limited to a number of choices that they give you. Versus an IRA, this is actually unlimited. So this can be held at any custodian where you can purchase from anything that's available on the market. Likewise, the Roth 401k, just like your 401k, it's very similar where it's limited to a certain number of choices. And then your Roth IRA, similar to that IRA, where you have an unlimited number of choices. So you can see pretty quickly just from this option, there's different things available to you. And that's why it's important to consider all of these things. So let's talk about access to funds. And this is when we're talking about you need to take money out. What's the process to do that? So with your 401k, you need to go through your plan administrator. So that might look like getting in touch with your old employer to actually get paperwork or linking your account to your bank account. Every employer is different, and so you just need to know the process. Access to funds with an IRA, you can actually set this up to be direct. So this can be directly linked to your bank accounts. The Roth 401k, very similar to your 401k, where you need to know what the plan administrator requires, and that's the process that you have to follow. And then your Roth IRA, again, like your IRA, where it can be directly linked to you. You're setting this account up in your own name, and now you can link it to whatever you want. So now let's talk about fees. And this is probably one of the more important things that a lot of people just don't even know. And with all of these accounts, the fees will vary. Now, they are going to be different in the sense that with this list of funds that is limited, so this 401k, Roth 401k, that's limited, you need to understand how you're getting charged for those funds that you're investing in. How is that expense ratio charged and how much is it? These are the things you need to know versus an IRA or a Roth IRA. If you're investing it yourselves, that fee may be really low. Or if you're paying an investment manager to do that for you, you know what that percentage is. So this is just something that's very important to know, and then you can choose if it's worth it. So RMDs required. This is probably one of the biggest things that you need to know because it can be different in all of these accounts. So a 401k, when you're not working, yes, you have to take an RMD from this, very much like an IRA. So you still need to take required minimum distributions at the age that is set for you. The Roth 401k, yes, if you're no longer working, you have to take RMDs from that. Now, with Roths, remember, you won't pay tax, but you do have to take a certain amount out each year. And then your Roth IRA, there is not an RMD that's required. So there are some differences between all of these accounts. So now when we think through where we can move money to, this 401k typically gets rolled over. So we call it a rollover, and you're really just rolling over the funds into the IRA. And this is a non-taxable event. So this doesn't cause any taxes to be paid. Then when you're rolling a Roth 401k into a Roth IRA, so we're going from like to like accounts, so IRA, Roth, and so this is also considered a rollover. And again, this is non-taxable because we're going to another type of account that has similar tax implications, and that's why there's no taxes due. Now, there are a couple other words that you just need to be aware of, and that is direct versus indirect rollovers. And really the difference is, where is the check or the funds, where is that going to get sent when you're moving it from the 401k to the IRA, from the Roth 401k to the Roth IRA. So you really want it to go directly from your employer's account to your IRA. That's ideal when they just send the check or send the funds there. But sometimes they will send the check directly to you. So it indirectly goes to your IRA through you. And you need to make sure that that check gets deposited into your IRA that you've opened. Now, what's really important is there is a 60-day, so you have 60 days, there's a 60-day rule, and this is calendar days, so it's 60 days on the calendar, not business days. So this is really important to know because you might think that you have 60 business days, and that is different. It's 60 calendar days that you have to get those funds from when they were sent into this new account. If we can help you to think through all of these choices that you have, or the timing, or when you need to start taking distributions, we would love to help you make all of this that seems complex really simple for you.